I've always wondered what it would be like to get inside of the famous Scranton Iron Furnaces. Unfortunately, that's a situation that's nearly impossible unless you have this. My X5 360 camera on a 10-foot pole. You're invited to come along with me for a one-of-a-kind, unique look at this historic location. Now, this is not my first time making a video here. I have done one a number of years ago. It was rather short. I'd say not very exciting or entertaining, so I figured we'd come back for a revisit, do it in a way I've never done it before, to give you some looks on the inside. So in case you're curious about this location, it's located on Cedar Avenue. Downtown Scranton is literally right behind the sign over there, about a block away, and Steamtown National Historic Site is on the other side of General Dynamics there. So before we head down and inside the furnaces, I figured let's take a little bit of a look at some of the history here, learn a little bit about it, so you have a better understanding as to what we're going to be checking out. And anything I do show you, you're always welcome to pause the video and read more for yourself. But just to read some of the basics here, DL&W, Delaware, Lackawanna Western Railroad Shops, which were that facility right there. And a layout of the map shows you how massive this facility was back in the day. It does state, across Cedar Ave, present site of General Dynamics, once stood the Lackawanna Iron and Steel Company's rolling mills and steel mills. In the beginnings, in August of 1840, William Henry Selden and George Scranton and Stanford Grant noted abundant outcroppings of coal and iron ore while prospecting in the Niagara Ravine, which is just a couple miles up there. The wealth of raw material prompted them to purchase 503 acres in the area, and by September they had begun construction of a blast furnace, marking the birth of an industry. In Scranton, at the time, the area, known as Slocum Hollow, contained only a schoolhouse, grist mill, sawmill. It says cooper shop. I thought maybe it was supposed to be copper shop, but the Slocum House and 5 dwellings. Railroad is saved. 1846, construction of the New York and Erie Railroad had stopped and the line was faced with bankruptcy. The state of New York offered to release its claim of $300,000 if the road were completed to Binghamton within a specified time. These were among the earliest T-rails rolled in the nation. The New York and Erie completed its contract 4 days before the deadline. In 1875, production of steel rails was begun, and by 1890, the Lackawanna Iron and Coal Company was one of the foremost steel plants of the country. Construction of the mills, the first blast furnace began September 11th, 1840. Power for the blast machinery was provided by the waters of Roaring Brook, which is right down there. Water power was later abandoned in favor of stationary steam engines to supply the high blast pressures needed to smelt iron ore with anthracite coal. Early route to market, iron from the Scranton plant was shipped to New York, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. Products destined for New York were carted to Carbondale by mule team, shipped to Honesdale via the Delaware and Hudson Canal, company's Gravity Railroad, which I actually have made a video on, then carried by canal and railroad to the city. Other iron goods were hauled by teams to Port Barnum near Pittston and shipped down the north branch of the Pennsylvania Canal to Philadelphia, or on down Susquehanna and the Tidewater Canal to Baltimore. Early days of production, the first 3 attempts to blow in the huge furnace ended in failure finally. On January 18th, 1842, the furnace was started and produced 75 tons of pig iron before it was shut down 5 weeks later. Local coal was found to be a good fuel, but the iron ore was of an inferior quality, necessitating the importation of ore from Danville limestone used as a flux in the smelting process, which was hauled from Lime Ridge 50 miles away. 3 4-stone stacks built between 1841 and 1854 are the remnants of the Lackawanna Iron and Coal Company blast furnaces. The area in front was the casting floor. The molten iron was run into sand channels formed in the floor, which served as molds for pigs and sows bars of iron. The entire area was covered by a huge casting shed. In addition to the casting shed, an engine house and fuel and ore sheds were associated with the furnaces. And these pictures depict the operations back in the day. And where we see right here, these men working, is right down there. Today, Scranton is known as the Electric City due to the first implementation of streetcar trolley service. But before that, Scranton was known for its iron making. A lot of people don't know that, but now you do. Now we're going to see some remnants of party supplies because there was a concert here the other night. They had a stage at the end of the field and several thousand were in attendance. I was actually up on top for a little bit, checking it out, got some pictures, and multiple bands played with a great turnout. So we're going to see some porta-john facilities and other things left behind from the event itself. But down here, there's a few more things we're going to check out, including a couple more signs. We'll be able to get our first glimpses inside the furnaces, and then we could go topside and look down inside as well. Down here you can see some of the natural rock outcroppings, and they built right upon it and next to it. It's a pretty massive looking structure. I'll definitely give you some size perspectives compared to myself. It says by 1850, the application of steam power to manufacture of goods was well established. Not only did a steam engine produce sufficient amounts of relatively stable power, but it freed industry from location along waterways. Casting the iron, the blast furnace was the heart of any iron making establishment. Lined with heat-resistant brick, known as refractory, the stack was filled from the top with alternating layers of iron ore, anthracite, and limestone. Scranton's initially intended to make and market pig iron alone. However, they soon decided to produce a smaller finished product. In 1844, nail-making machinery was installed and a puddling mill constructed approximately 1,000 yards above the furnaces along a roaring brook. Nails were made from wrought iron plates in order to convert their cast iron into wrought iron. The Scrantons built several reverberatory or puddling ovens. Actually, this makes a little bit of sense. I did a video a number of years ago. It was one of my earlier Google finds, and it was along Roaring Brook, further up where they stated, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. It was just foundations and remnants partially in the water, and that may be what it was right there. And just a couple of the images depicting the mills here, pulling the iron, the big rollers for the T-rails. As far as getting views on the inside, well, it's very tempting to go inside. There's only some not really unstoppable gates stopping you from getting inside. It's not permitted, it's not allowed. I do know people have been inside. For me, it's not worth the risk. You do have openings throughout to look in. As we're going to see, there's openings on top to look down. There's also an opening on each end looking on the back side. So we're going to start there. And again, we're not going inside, only the camera's going inside. I also know people have flown drones here. My only concern with that is that if it does lose signal or it does crash, well, the only way to get it is by going inside, which again is not permitted. Big archway right there. Oh, look it, I just found a little teddy bear. Does this make it officially abandoned? I don't know. So right here is a back almost like hallway or tunnel. Again, gate isn't really stopping people. It's just, there because you're not supposed to go inside. But I'm gonna get you guys extended out. I'm gonna stick you in as far as I can. And once it's in there, I'm gonna move the camera around during editing to give you views top, bottom, sideways, all around. And then we're going to work our way down to the other end. And then lastly, we'll go topside and look down. Should have tried to catch it. And good timing. The company's here to pick up the porta-johns, so. Off to the left, looks like there was another opening there, which has been bricked up. Identical one on the right side, which is open. There's a brief look into the openings there. You can also see some of the iron mounted into the stone here. Most likely things attached to it, or maybe even a gate. Even on top, there's different plates and hardware up there as well. Up here on the hill, you see another bricked up archway there. And we have a little bit of a balcony. Same view as in the opposite end, except for this time we're higher up in the air. So let me get you extended out and we'll head inside. Ideally, this would be a great area to fly the drone through, but again, if you lose signal or it crashes, you're forced to go inside to get it. I do love the archways though. The different materials, stone, brick, natural bedrock there on the lower right hand side. As I know, mid 1800s, it's still standing today. And we can even see remnants where something else would have been up ahead past my bike there. This is only part of what's left of what used to remain. We're topside now, got a few more information plaques. Scranton was founded as an iron making community. In the late 1830s, the natural resources of the Lackawanna Valley attracted William Henry, the Scrantons, the Platts, and their associates. Nearby they found coal, water power, limestone, and iron ore. Basically depicting what we read down below, but they do have more plaques up here with some photos of those individuals. William Henry, Selden Scranton, George Scranton, Joseph Platt, and Joseph Scranton. Around the ironworks, houses and stores were built, communities developed, schools and churches, and immigrants came to the valley to work in the ironworks and mines. They came to build railroads and drive the steam locomotives that ran on them. The growing city attracted textile mills, machine shops, and foundries. This is a bird's eye view of Scranton, 1872 right there. And more pictures of the blast furnaces where we're located right now. So if you look at this image, that's where we just were. So there was a big building right in front of the furnaces themselves in the lawn area. That's now gone. Those tunnels and archways is where we just were. So we were walking right down here. And here's a look at it here. I guess this is either before or after. Oh, this is before restoration. So this is after this is gone, before restoration of what we see today. So kind of a before, after, and then more after today. And right here we have a section of the T-rail. One of the main things they were producing here to lay out the lines for the railroads. Oh, there's a big bumblebee right there. Getting some sun, getting a late summer tan. In 1875, the Lackawanna Iron and Coal Company installed Bessemer converters. Ever heard of that? That is like a big cone shape piece of machinery or equipment. It was used to process their pig iron into steel. The steel works was located across Cedar Ave, where General Dynamics plant now stands, which is right over there. And again, some more pictures depicting the facility that was here. Tracks in the area for delivery, and the many buildings which are now gone. Now up here is where you get a unique vantage point looking directly down into the furnaces. One of them is covered, but these ones, there's 3 of them that are open here. One more information plaque we'll check out. Scranton grew from a village into a city through the success of the ironworks, coal mines, and railroads. Scranton built a company, store, and hotel to attract potential workers and customers to the city. More businessmen followed, sharing into the city's prosperity, and the city population grew from 2,230 in 1850 to 76,000 in 1890. Just a matter of 40 years. And we have the Scranton estate right there, the DL&W train station, today known as the Radisson Hotel, which I believe had trains operating up until the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Laurel Line trolley service. That building, I think, is right over there, possibly. It looks like it anyways. And the DL&W Western Railroad rail yards with dozens of lines there. Just some more orientation. Hilton Hotel right there, which is Lackawanna Avenue. We have the former platform area. Radisson, which my friends Jake and Becky just stayed at this past weekend. Spent a couple days with them. We came here as well. This is a platform which is not used, hasn't been used in a long time. I don't know if it's for Steamtown or for the trolley, because the trolley line, there's a spur switch coming off of it and power lines coming right to it. So the trolley can technically come here, but it never does. I think they'd use it for Railfest to bring people here, but I'm sure they have the reasons as to why they don't. I know it is in need of repair. There's some broken boards. University of Scranton's over there. Scranton Expressway is down here. All right, guys, we're gonna start off high and we're gonna fly into the iron furnace. Oh, that's not a unique look. I don't know what is. Let's go to another one over here. We'll start up high, fly down into it. Hopefully this makes for one heck of a view like we've never seen before. Couple more plaques over here we'll briefly glance at before we give you a view inside this one here, which is going to be darker and harder to see, but since we're here, we'll check it out. This is about settlement. 1830s Lackawanna Valley was largely wilderness. Here at Slocum Hollow, there were 5 dwellings, a saw, grist mill, school, and cooper shop and hotel. So it is cooper, not copper. So whether you start at the bottom or come up top, there's information plaques basically sharing the same information. So if you don't want to walk all the way, you don't have to. You're basically going to be covered no matter where you are. Here's a mule and the driver inside the mine. And here's a kind of a side profile of the blast furnaces. Here's the building we talked about. The porta-johns are right down here, so there was a structure right there. And where we are, we're right on top of here. So great seeing the before and afters. And here's a view of the Lackawanna Coal and Iron Company furnaces in 1859. All the stacks spewing out the smoke. And that would be Roaring Brook right there. And we are, I believe, right around here. All right, this one's gonna be darker inside. I can't really fly into it, so we'll come up here by the beams and lower ourselves in. And there we go. Oh, there's someone's trash right here. And a partially eaten beef jerky. Slim Jim. I don't know how tall these are, but if I was to guesstimate from the floor to the top of the concrete here, I'd say 40 to 50 feet. And I'm going to give you one final look from up top here. I'm going to extend you out one more time. You're going to be out over the edge as we walk the top level here. All right, enjoy this unique view. It's a good ways down, and as long as I don't look down, I'm okay with the heights up here because I can't see through to the bottom. But that's a drop I wouldn't want to make. As people say, it's not the fall, it's the sudden stop. Gotta love a good Jake brake. And come over here to the shed area, and that brings us as far as we could go right here. I'm not entirely sure what this is other than just a representation of what they produced here. It is all iron rails. I mean, you can literally get inside and walk, get some photo poses, make for a unique thumbnail if I wanted to. Pretend you're caged in like an animal. I honestly don't know what it is. It looks like a giant fire pit apparatus, but it is nothing more than railroad tracks welded together. So it's down here. I want to take a picture, or a goofy picture at that. It's a good place to do it. What an absolutely gorgeous day out. A little breeze, low humidity, 70s. Ideal temperatures. Also, forgot to mention, in case you're wondering about this shirt, but you're probably not, but I'm going to mention it anyways. When my friends Jake and Becky were here, they did give this to me. They know I love blue, love Jason Voorhees, and of course I love cats since I do have 3 myself. So we're going to wear it today in honor of them. But this location, it's always worth checking out if you're ever passing through Scranton, whether you're from the area or just passing by. It's completely free. It's a 5-minute walk from downtown Scranton, a short drive from Steamtown, and there's other things nearby to do as well. If you're staying at the Radisson, you can walk here as well. And they do have events here, like we mentioned, where they put on concert performances and even have iron making processes of melting down the steel, which I witnessed here before. So all this stuff is usually shared on the Lackawanna County's Facebook or website, so you can always follow that and come for one of those events. Or just come here for yourself, day or night. It is lit up at night, so you get some great pictures day or night. And check it out, learn some history, and learn that Scranton was originally founded for iron making, although it's more commonly known as the Electric City. I'm gonna enjoy a ride today since it's so nice out, and I want to thank you for coming along for an updated, unique look at the famous Scranton Iron Furnaces. Take care, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.